This is the story of a girl who cried a river and...
If you have ever been cheated on or have cheated on someone else, I highly recommend you do not click out of this video. The biggest reason for cheating is that a lot of the time the person who decides to go out and look for something else is usually contemplating on breaking up with that person, their significant other. But instead of having the respect and the decency to just honestly tell you that they don't want to be together anymore, they decide to go out and pursue something else while they're still with you. That's usually the biggest reason people cheat. It's because they just don't want to be together anymore and they don't know how to tell you that. And that hurts. I know. A couple of other reasons are that sometimes people are just wanting to look for something else. Like maybe they're seeking something a little bit more physically, or they're seeking just something else that they can't really explain, but they're just seeking something else. And like I said, instead of them having the decency to break up with you, or ask for a break even, they go out and look for something else while they're with you. If you are put in the situation where maybe you're in a relationship that you feel like isn't going anywhere, and maybe it just feels really tedious and mediocre, whatever the case is, maybe you're tired of that person, maybe you're just tired of yourself, maybe it's in your insecurities. A lot of the time, cheaters are extremely insecure. They are. Because why else would they not have the guts and the decency to just break up with you or to ask for a break? Instead, they go out and they venture off to something else. I mean, honestly, especially if you're in a relationship. Now, marriage, that's a different ball game, so I'll get there in a second. But if you're in a relationship and you feel like maybe it's not going anywhere, and I can understand that, and maybe you feel like maybe the person's not the same person they used to be anymore, and maybe that your chemistry is just kind of dying, don't hurt that person's self-esteem. Because what happens is when you cheat on somebody, you're hurting that person's self-esteem. You're hurting their confidence. You're hurting everything. You're making them insecure because they start to ask themselves, the person who's cheated on, they ask themselves, why did this person cheat on me? What did I do to deserve this? Is there something wrong with me? My message to you is, if you're being cheated on, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. A lot of the time, it's the insecurities with the cheater themselves. Most of the time. I can't stress this enough, actually. If you have respect for the person you're dating, end it. Ask for a break. Break up with them before you decide to seek another relationship while you're still with them. Don't. And I repeat, don't do that. Because like I said, not only are you hurting their self-esteem, you're hurting your own. You're especially hurting your own. I mean, why? It's really easy. I mean, okay, it's not easy, but it's much easier to break up with someone instead of hurting somebody else's heart. I mean, when you feel like you're cheated on, it hurts your heart differently than if you just say, hey, I don't think this relationship is going anywhere, or maybe I feel like we just don't have the chemistry we used to have, or maybe I feel like we're just growing apart, versus, I cheated on you with somebody else. Because that hurts more than the alternate. I promise you that. So, I know you're afraid of hurting that person. So if you honestly are afraid of hurting that person, don't cheat on them. Don't seek something else while you're with them. Don't do it. Instead, ask for a break. Have some time for yourself before you decide to get into another relationship. So to prevent from cheating again, just don't get in a relationship for a while. Maybe stay single, because obviously that's really what you want. You want to have time to flirt with a lot of girls. You want to have time to be with lots of people. And I get that. Because before marriage, that really is what you should do. You should have fun and meet lots of people and see what's out there and see what's best for you. But don't do that while you're in a relationship with somebody, because it's not fair to that person. So instead, take some time to be single. Take some time for yourself. Take some time to just not date anybody. Or even just don't have a relationship. And then finally, after some time, and maybe you've dated lots of girls and you've realized that you don't like, or boys, I'm sorry, I don't mean this directly towards guys because girls are cheaters too. If you've taken lots of time to date people and it's been a while since you've had a relationship and you finally think you're ready for a relationship, that's great. But if you honestly really truly know that you're not ready for one because you want to be with lots of people, but maybe you're really attracted to this one person and you want them to be yours, I get that. But it's not fair to that person. It's not fair to that person at all. So instead of stringing somebody along and leading them on, just don't do it. Because it hurts their self-esteem. And obviously you don't have much of one because you don't have the respect to just end it before it gets really bad. Now there are two types of cheating. The first one is mentally cheating. And basically mentally cheating can be anything from, you're in a relationship and you're with that person and maybe you think someone else is really attractive and you want to do things with them. Like you want to be with them, you want to date them. Maybe you're like, wow, that person's so attractive, I really want to be with that person. That's mentally cheating. Or maybe someone from your past comes back and you're just like, oh, I've always liked this person. Or just any strong feelings you have towards someone that's not your significant other is basically mentally cheating. And sometimes mentally cheating can be just as bad as physically cheating. So if you feel like you have really strong feelings for somebody and you're with someone else, my best advice is to cut the cord with the person you're with, take some time for yourself, and really evaluate your feelings, because that's not fair to the person you're with, and that's not fair to the person that you have feelings for alternately. So if you're mentally cheating, just take some time for yourself before it gets out of hand. Physically cheating is basically when you have those mental feelings, like those mental feelings for somebody else, and you decide to act on them. Instead of just feeling it, you act on it. That's physically cheating. It's wrong. It hurts other people. So, if you know you're a big flirt, if you know that you don't really want a relationship, don't get into one. Because it can only be a problem. And that hurts someone else. And that's not fair. And here's my message if you feel like somebody's cheating on you. To those of you who have ever cheated on someone, I want you to think about the outcome. Because here's the thing. I know we all make mistakes. I know we all hurt people. But there are ways to prevent cheating. There are ways to prevent it. So, here are some ways. If you don't feel like your relationship is working out, you feel like maybe you guys are going different ways, maybe you feel like you guys are separating, you're growing apart, like I've said before, ask for a break. Because what's going to happen is the more pressure you feel in the relationship, you'll go looking for something else. You'll be going to look for an escape. So instead, take a break. Reevaluate your life. Reevaluate what it is that you actually want. Cheaters don't know what the heck they want. When someone goes out and cheats on you, they don't know what they want. A lot of the time, they're extremely insecure because they don't know what it is that they want, obviously, because they don't have the guts to break up with you. But they don't want to be single either, and they don't, it's just, they don't know what they want. So, I know that's hard, but take some time for yourself if you feel like the relationship isn't working out. And think about how you're making the person you're cheating, think about how you're making the person you're cheating on feel. Like, you're making them feel like they're not good enough for you. You're making them feel like they're crazy, you're giving them high anxiety, you're breaking their trust. Because of the fact that you're cheating, they're never going to be able to trust the same way again. Because they're going to think, because a lot of the time, the person being cheated on, for the most part, not until the end usually, they don't think really anything's wrong. They don't see anything wrong, so they don't see it coming. So when they don't see it coming, they automatically think, wow, I had all this trust for this person. I thought nothing can go wrong. I thought this person was great. And all of a sudden, they went out and cheated on me. So you're hurting them. You're breaking their trust. That's not right. And you're not only breaking their trust for you, you're breaking their trust toward anyone they ever date again. Because now they're always going to be looking twice. They're always going to be looking at from the side of their eyes because they don't know. They could always think in the back of their mind, well, maybe this person is a cheater. So think about how you're affecting someone when you cheat on them. Because not only are you missing out on a great person, but you're breaking their trust. And trust is a huge thing when it comes to relationships. It's the number one thing, as well as honesty, which is a huge part of it. If you don't feel like the relationship's working out, be honest with them. Tell them how you feel, instead of just holding it in, dealing with it, as people say. I'm just going to deal with it. Instead of doing that, talk to the person. Because maybe, you never know, maybe they feel the same way. But instead, they just don't feel it as strongly as you do. So, have some decency. Think about the person's feelings. Think about the outcome. Okay? I know we're all human, and I know we all make mistakes, and I know we all desire a bunch of things in this world, and that's not easy. And I know a relationship is not a marriage, but, like I said, think about the outcome. Think about how you're affecting them. And just don't do it. I know it's hard, but there are many ways to prevent it from happening. There are many ways to prevent cheating from happening. So you can do that. Even though maybe you've cheated before, just remember that in your next relationship, don't rush it. If there is a problem, acknowledge the problem before it becomes a bigger problem. And if you're the person being cheated on, remember that you are special, that you are valuable. Just because that person didn't want to be with you, and maybe they chose a really bad way of expressing that, does not mean that you're not valuable. So, remember that. Remember that there are second chances, but people never forget. They may forgive, but they never forget. So, do remember that as well. And just remember that everybody is dishonest, but there are people out there, when you find the right person, they'll be devoted to you 100%. And remember, everybody makes mistakes. It's how we deal with the mistakes that make us unique and special. So, this has been Alexa Kaczynska, and I hope you all have an amazing day, and thank you so much for watching.